So there is a bill that just passed the House and it is headed to Congress. If this bill passes, this will be the final nail in the coffin for our democracy and the checks and balances in this country, and give Republicans complete control over every aspect of our judicial system and laws. I need everybody to pay attention to this because we still have time to stop it. And if we don't stop it right fucking now, we are in a total dictatorship fascist regime. So we really need to stop this, okay? This is our last fucking chance. So please listen. This is H.R. Bill 126, and what it would do is end the ability for judges to sue, take this to court, any policies that they make. It would end judges' ability to check them. Right now, this is the last line of defense that we have for keeping this administration in check. Is judges, federal judges, district judges, being able to take them to court and say, no, this is actually unconstitutional. Without that power, they can do anything they want. And it already passed the House. I'm writing up a full breakdown for my Substack, so after you watch that, go check that out because it's got more of the info and the meat of this. But I have a huge call of action for every single fucking one of you, because the only way to stop this is huge public outrage. This needs to go far and wide. Please share this, comment, interact, all the things, because we need to get this out here, and I need you to do a few things. Call your senators, specifically senators, especially if you live in Washington, Arizona, Montana, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Georgia. These are the senators we need to be calling right now. Tag them, harass them, let them know that if they vote yes on this, they are voting for the end of fucking democracy and allowing for an authoritarian regime to completely take over. This is so unconstitutional, and it ends the Constitution. The ability to enforce the Constitution. Scream at these motherfuckers from the goddamn rooftops right now. We don't have much time. Tag your local news agencies. Call your local news agencies. Call national news agencies. Tag every single motherfucker you can think of that can get this information out, and call those fucking senators immediately. Let them know how the people feel about the end of fucking democracy, please. Please, I am begging you. If we don't do this right now, it's over. We're screwed. This is the final nail in the coffin, okay? You need to do something. You. Right now. Please. I am begging you.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12, and it reads, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto a speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashah Barazal, a prophet of doom from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. And things are moving real fast, because that video you just saw, the woman broke it down pretty good. It's a TikTok video that I saw, and I found an article to match up with that validates it. So I'm not going to read the article, but I'll put a link to it and the actual bill. But things are moving real fast, and basically, Trump and his team are removing all the checks and balances of all the branches of government to keep him in check, so that they can just run roughshod with laws and stuff and making it crazy here. And it's going to get real crazy here real soon, and you can see that already. Civil war. You got this. You got his people of his administration weighing in on this Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf situation going on in Texas. It's going to be a civil war, and then what they're about to do with this HR Bill 1526. You know, that's going to be that sedition among men. So this is the article that I found on Newsbreak. And it's from Fox 4 KDFW. It says bill aimed to restrict activist judges awaits Senate vote. Critics call HR 1526 a threat to the Constitution. All right. And this is just an overview of it. Like I said, I'll put it in the description box. You can read the article yourself. But yeah, this is going to cause some shit here in this shithole place, Babylon the Great, aka America. All right, and this is the brief of it. It says HR 1526, the No Rogue Ruling Act, aims to limit district courts' ability to issue nationwide injunction against President Trump's executive orders. So yeah, he can just start writing stuff. If this passes, he can just start writing stuff, and it is what it is, and it's already gone through the House. All right. It says critics, including the ACLU and the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, argue the bill threatens constitutional checks and balances and judicial independence. The bill, having passed the House, awaits Senate vote before potentially becoming law. And I have this app called the Bill Tracker. All right. This is very much a legitimate bill. Okay. Very legitimate. And yes, during the session of 119th Congress. And I can scroll up here. This is the official document link. All right. And I did hit that link. And it takes you right to the bill, congress.gov. All right. This is the overview. And as you can see in the bottom where it says tracker, it's introduced and has passed the House. Okay. So you got a Republican Senate too. All right. This will be the status of this bill. So we're going to keep an eye on this one. This is a House Resolution 1526. 1526. And it's pretty much, these guys are going to go roughshod, go rogue. They're talking about the judges, being able to stop them. No, they're going to be running stuff through for that project 25, Agenda 25, whatever that shit is that they plan on doing that's going to fail. All right. But yeah, this is it. We know things are real close now. All right. Are real close. And, like I said, he's going to come down with great wrath. All right. And let's see, this is the book of Psalms. Not Psalms, Isaiah. Yeah, because, this guy's already trying to do stuff to run a third term. So that's going to be one of the things if it passes. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 4. And it reads, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts. So yeah, this dude is about to be real cruel. You can see that now, deporting people who are not even in trouble. And it's believed that guy's already dead. Because it said once you go into that prison, you don't come out. And if you notice, Trump was caught, joking or not, he said it. Told that guy, the president of Venezuela, you need to build 5 more prisons. And they already have it set up to where, to where they can deport people. All right. And on top of those deportations, it talked about U.S. citizens being part of that. And that's what they plan to do. I mean, think about it. They're trying to make this place all white again. He's already given refuge to some of the Ukrainians, also South Africans. Okay, so how do you do that? You displace, the people here, the places, and kill them off. That's what this guy's going to do. And you should know, this guy has no problem with that. He once said he could shoot someone in the head, and people will still vote for him. Okay, his case with the Central Park Five, the defamation case, is going through. He still has to stand for that, along with his other 34 felonies. Okay, he wanted those guys dead, and they were proven innocent. So we're here. We are here. All right. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a cruel Lord, a cruel Lord, and that's what it's about to be, because the people who are in his ear are even more cruel than he is. All right. He's just a puppet. All right. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, and verse 5. And this is talking about the wicked, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, according to Malachi 1 and 4. Okay. It says, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all of his enemies, he puffeth at them. Okay. And it's turning out to be some of his enemies are his own people. All right. No doubt. His own people, they're starting to go against him. Just think, look at the lady who did the video. These Edomites are crying now, but this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted when you went to those polls, and that's why, that's you all's game to play. We don't play that game because we're not supposed to vote, according to Deuteronomy 17:15. But that's the game in this country. The Lord told us to arise and depart, for this place is not our rest. So yes, we're under the laws of this land, but there's some stuff we can keep away from, like those elections. But we see what is happening. What's going to happen is going to happen. All right. That's what's going to happen is because the Lord wanted it to happen that way. All right. This is Proverbs 21 and 1. And it reads, the king's heart, or his mind, is in the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will. So yeah, Lord is in control of everything. All right. He's about to harden the heart of this current Pharaoh. All right. To show himself strong. And we see it. All right. We see it. All these things are about to happen. All right. Including to his own people. But we know that the target is us. We're in that time of Jacob's trouble, and it is about to ramp up. Okay. You can see it, and it's his own people are starting to see that, he didn't give a shit about them. He stoked the fires. Okay. Got them to vote. And now look at them crying, losing their land, all that stuff. This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha, chapter 14, verse 5. And it reads, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. This dude, they got everything they want. The world is in their hands right now, according to Job 9:24. He said, he that is evil to himself, meaning he that is evil to his own people, to whom will he be good? And that's certainly not Jake's. Okay. That is certainly not us Jakes, Israelites. We know that we're the target. He is in cohorts with the state of Israel. They're already putting a bug in his ear for that global or religion. All this stuff is coming to pass. And that global religion is going to be based off of that Babylonian Talmud shit. All right. Which says if you believe in someone else other than God, or Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, which is not their God, we know that, you can be put to death. All right. And who is that that's boldly professing the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai? You know, those with the true doctrine. All right. Begin with GMS, Great Millstone. All right. So all of this stuff is going to lead, you know. So like I said, the civil wars and everything. This bill right here is already has already passed the House. You got a Republican Senate. That thing is going to become law. All right, that bill is going to become law real soon. And you know, the bug out now is martial law. It's supposed to be called on April 20th. You know, that's the buzz is going around. You know, but he can do it. You know, if this law passes. All right, a lot of stuff is going to go down. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, and beginning at verse 14. And it reads, Woe, woe meaning destruction, to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. That's the civil war. All right? And we see that coming. I mean, these people are mad that Carmelo Anthony kid had his bond lowered from $1 million to 250,000. They are pissed off because he defended himself. But that's the way Esau is and always has been. He's just fine knocking us off. But, you know, but when one of us gets the best of him, he wants to tear up, you know, the whole community. And we've been seeing that with the For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob series. That's his MO. All right. So we know that could be one thing. All right. They're already threatening that judge. You know, where else can you do that at and not be put in jail? All right. But she's a Jake too. All right. Who lowered his bail. All right. And yeah, it's getting ready to go down. He says, verse 16, For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So when they got ready to gut this Constitution, you can best believe these Edomites, you know, so-called patriots, you know, are going to make war with the United States government. That's why they want to take your guns. All right. So yeah, things are moving real fast and getting heated real quick. All right. Yeah. You know, and some of them who are that's you know here again, just early on, he looked for ways to get Jakes out of the military. You know, if you couldn't get rid of your razor bumps, what other nation of men deals with that? You know, razor bumps. So-called Jake, tribe of Judah, the one ignorantly called the black man. All right, he's the only one that deals with those razor bumps. Okay, and then they want to stop recruiting blacks to the military. You see, they're erasing them out of history at the Arlington Cemetery, the military museums. Okay, but what they don't know, you know, and can't prove to this point is, you know, they don't know who's going to turn on them of their own people. You know, and some of the people they want to keep in could be a speckled bird as well. They just don't know. But they're doing all this to make this place so-called white again. All right. And it says, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's that martial law. And that has been going around, supposed to be declared April 20th. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right. And that's that pride of Esau, Edom. Okay. The cities are going to be troubled. That's all happening right now. You know, you got the state of Nebraska about to go bankrupt. You know, that's what they're claiming. A lot of stuff going on everywhere. You know, houses, are being destroyed right now. Okay, well, wait until this stuff kicks off with these famines and shit. You know, people are gonna be looking for food. You know, and it says, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, you neighborhoods gonna be monitored by heavily armed military, the UN. Okay, goes on and says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah, famine. You know, they're going to be looking at people who are able to afford food. You know, even some of these preppers are not safe. And these homemade bunkers. You know, they want to get to you, they can get to you. You know, especially the government. Yeah, it says for great tribulation, and man, it's going to come down hard. You know, like I read in Sirach 14:5. Uh, uh, um, this, even though he's evil to his own people, this is really about the extermination of Jake. You can see that with all these policies. Okay, but it's going to fall back on them. All right, he really wants to take Jake out with these draconian laws. This is Wisdom of Solomon, in the Apocrypha, chapter 2, beginning in verse 10. And it reads, let us oppress the poor righteous man, Israelite. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient hairs of the aged. Okay? So, yeah, he just, don't care. This is the same thing they did when we were exiting ancient Egypt. Amalek coming up from behind, messing with the people, the weakest of the people, and the most feeble of the people. All right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. It says, let our strength be the law of justice. Okay? And that law of justice, what they deem justice, is going to be unbridled when this bill passes. No checks and balances. All right? It goes on to say, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. All right? That woman, Israeli council, Judith Varney Shorer, said that the number one problem for the state of isn't real is the black youth of America. And the question still remains, how is that? We don't have no military. Definitely not unified. It's already stated that 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die, and a 1/3, is going to be remain, be brought through the fire. Some of us will be martyrs. Okay, but that 1/3, is going to be saved. The ones that become martyrs are the ones that are going to be risen first, according to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 16 through 18. All right. So yeah. This is this is where it's going to be. Like I said, is really all these laws are really coming after Jake. All right. Verse 12, it says, therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean, contrary to our doings. All right. And in a nutshell, you have the vessel of honor, which is, the Israelites, 12 tribes, and the vessel of dishonor, Esau, Edom, the so-called wicked. Jake being righteous, and Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, being unrighteous, as you can see. He says, he upbraideth us with our offending of the law, and objective to our infamy and transgressings of our education. It says, he professeth to have knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts, and that's what we're doing, especially as prophets on the highways and byways. All right. showing Jake and the rest of the world how terrible this nation of people is. Okay? It says, He is grievous unto us to even behold. That's because we're the righteous. All right? For his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion, because we have the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? We're a sanctified people, made special to the Lord himself above every nation on earth, according to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, and chapter 14, verse 2. All right? It says, verse 16, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits, and yes, you are. You stole a whole identity. You are a counterfeit. Point blank, period. And the world knows that now. Okay? He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. Yeah, you're the most defiled people on earth. Look at what goes on over there. You know, circumcising kids with your mouth. The stuff that you doing to 3-year-olds according to your Talmud. Okay? The biggest Skittles parade ever in Tel Aviv. All right? He says, he pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that Yahweh is his father. And that's true. He is our father. Okay, and our end will be blessed. All right? Verse 17 says, let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen to him in the end of it. And that's when you move, you know, that's when Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to raise up that standard. All right? We're going to have that spiritual powers on this side and deal with you accordingly. All right? He told us to wait upon him, and he will fight for us. And he will. All right? So, yeah, when you get ready, make an end of us, it's on. Because the Lord said multiple times throughout the scriptures, you know, he has not cast away his people. He is our Redeemer. Okay? Verse 18 says, for if the just man be the son of the power, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. And we already know that's going to be true. That is true, according to scriptures. All right? It says, we are the sons of the power. Okay? I'm going to go to Romans right quick and come back to this. This is the book of Romans, just to prove that. Chapter 8, verse 33. One of my favorite scriptures. It says, who shall lay anything to the charge of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's elect? It is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that justifieth. All right? So he justifies his elect. We were his from the very beginning, from the foundation of the world. Okay? We are. Says no one can separate us from Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Okay? So yeah. This is back to the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. Says, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, all right, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Yep, that's what this bill, H.R. Bill 1526, is going to let him do. Draconian laws. All right. It says, let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. I just read that to you. Romans 8:33. Okay. It says, such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness hath blinded them. And like the scriptures say, when he is about to fill his belly. All right, let me grab that. Job 20:23. Says, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and it shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Rain. You ever try to dodge raindrops? There's no escape. All right? No escape. So yeah, when you try to condemn us and come against his elect, it's on. Job 21 and 30. First, starting against 29, verse 29. It says, have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens? Yeah, we know your tokens, your signs, by your wickedness, according to the scriptures. Know exactly who you are. It says that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction, that they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. All right? So yeah, and that day of wrath, that's why you're trying to move. All right? Because you know you have aboard a short time. Okay? You got bounds that you cannot pass. Let me grab that and then close it out. That's in Job 2. I always get it mixed up. Yeah. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So your kingdom is coming to an end. As soon as you try to come against us, all right, it's coming to an end. All right. I'll close with this one. Sirach chapter 10. Verse 8. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Yep. So in other words, because of all of your bullshit, wickedness, Esau, Edom, and you 2/3 that have been connected to him, it's time is up. It's here. The Lord is on his way back to save his elect. All right, and we're gonna take the kingdom and reign it forever, forever, and ever. Reign forever. All right, and you're gonna be in servitude to us. According to Revelations chapter 18, verse 5 and 6, twice as long, twice as hard, and Revelation 13:10. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwame Yasharala, Abba Babal. We got next.